What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about why I personally quit training in the gi. As a lot of you guys know, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 4 years, and I came up under a guy named Chewy and also Patches Childers. Originally, up until the point that I got my purple belt 2 years ago, I trained in the gi 3 to 4 days a week, and I trained no-gi 3 days a week, meaning more of my training on average was in the gi than it was in no-gi. The main reason that this was what it was is because it's just what was available, you know? The option to train gi was more available than the option to train no-gi, specifically when I was training with Patches. And then once I moved back to Louisville after I graduated college and I started training with Chewy, it started to be a little bit more half and half, like 3 and 3 or 3 and 2. It just kind of depended on the week, or I guess my own personal schedule with work and stuff. But essentially, for the beginning of my jiu-jitsu career, specifically the first like 2.5, 3 years, it was a lot of gi also. I'm gonna kind of talk about why I stopped training in the gi and if I think no-gi makes you worse at jiu-jitsu, because these are two very common questions that I get. Brandon, why don't you train in the gi? Brandon, do you think gi is more technical than no-gi? Like I already said, I stopped training gi almost 2 years ago, and the main reason is that I didn't really enjoy it. I got to the point where I had some autonomy while I was at Derby City, and I was able to create 2 wrestling classes to kind of make up for the days that there was only gi classes. So I had like 5 to 10 training partners where I would run us through very specific drills during the Tuesday and Thursday wrestling classes. It would be lots of situational rolling, jiu-jitsu situationals, and lots of wrestling takedown drills and takedown defense drills. This is kind of when I started to get a little bit more serious about competition. I'd already done ADCC trials once before this, but I wasn't really like, okay, I'm like, I want to be a full-time athlete. Like I want to have a career in this. That wasn't what I was thinking initially when I first started doing jiu-jitsu. But at the point where I was like, you know, I think I want to go and kind of try to make a career out of this, and I don't really enjoy the gi. That's kind of what happened. I competed 4 or 5 times in the gi. I think I have like 20 gi matches, just about. Funny enough, I've never lost a match in the gi, but to be fair, that was only at blue belt that I did the gi. Well, technically white belt, but I only competed at blue. I never competed in a white belt tournament, but essentially I only did blue belt divisions in the gi as far as my competition career goes. Had some fun matches, had some really tough matches, but at the end of the day, I never really enjoyed it. I thought it was, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. I just did not enjoy it. I thought it was hot. I thought it was slow. I thought it was boring. I thought it was very difficult to watch. Coming up in wrestling, I always loved to watch film, and trying to watch film in the gi, pretty much just, I didn't enjoy it. I mean, there were really nice things about it. There were really cool things about it, but at the end of the day, I did not enjoy the gi, which is why once I got my purple belt, I kind of just dropped it. I was like, I asked Chewy, I was like, do I need to do the gi to get promoted, etc., etc. And he was like, no, you don't. You know, I think he talked about this recently on one of his videos, but at our gym, I'm not in Kentucky anymore, but Chewy still is my professor, the guy who promotes me and whatnot. But at our gym, you can train only no-gi or you can train only gi and still get promoted. Both are fine. And I was really lucky because Chewy didn't shame me. Lots of jiu-jitsu people will shame you if you only want to do one, which is kind of ridiculous. And that brings me up to my next point is like, don't feel shamed if you only do gi or only do no-gi. You gotta do what you enjoy. Your life is extremely short, and the time that you get to train jiu-jitsu is even shorter than that, you know? There's people training in their 70s or 80s or whatever, but like, honestly, what is the percentage chance that that's gonna be you or me? I don't know. So why would I continue to show up and train at something that I literally would go to gi training and just be like, man, this just isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this. I'm just not enjoying this at all. I wasn't having fun. And I think if you're not having fun, what are you doing this sport for? You're not making $1 million doing the gi. So I was like, whatever. I'm not having fun. And I think the same can be said for no-gi, right? This isn't me pooping on the gi. I know someone here is gonna be like, oh, you have to do the gi because of this, da 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 da. No, I say the same for no-gi. I have friends who just won't train no-gi because they think that it's gonna get them hurt more, it's too fast, it's more of a young man's game, there's too many leg locks, etc., etc. I think that's totally fine. I don't think you need to train no-gi. I don't think it's necessary at all, but you know, it's rarely no-gi guys trashing the gi guys saying, hey, this conversation that we're having right now is because a lot of times gi guys will be like, you shouldn't get promoted if you don't do the gi. Lots of you guys in the comments are gonna be like, you know, promotions don't matter. And I think That's a very unique thing to say, because at the end of the day, they do matter for different reasons than what you think, right? Promotions, to me, in my eyes, they're not a sign of how good you are necessarily. Rather, they're a sign of your discipline, your ability to stay focused, your ability to stay consistent, to just keep doing this thing that is hard. It's chosen adversity, right? And to not compare yourself to other people, right? There's like Big Dan, who's still a purple belt. He's beating literally 99% of black belts. But the belts matter. They do matter. And the argument that someone who does no-gi only shouldn't get a belt, I think is a very weak argument, and it's also a very selfish thing to say. Vice versa, if someone says you do the gi, it doesn't mean you're actually a black belt because you can only play in the gi. I think it's dumb. Now that we got through that, don't feel ashamed to only do the one you choose, okay? I chose no-gi because it's what I enjoy. It's what I saw a career in. It's what I saw a future in. That's fine. If that's how you feel about the gi, amazing. Do only the gi. Now, the thing that I would say that I hear way too often, which there's pretty much zero truth to this, is that the gi is more technical than no-gi. This is an absolutely ridiculous statement. In fact, I don't think either one is more technical than the other. What is a technique? Someone in the comments explain that to me. Because at the end of the day, there's an unlimited amount of possibilities between either of the two sports. For example, in no-gi, where you don't have the lapels, you don't have the gi to grab onto, etc., you have an extremely advanced wrestling game, counter wrestling game, extremely advanced leg lock game. In the gi, you only have ankle locks and knee bars. In the no-gi, you're combining ankle locks, knee bars, heel hooks, etc. And it's not even comparable. The amount of stuff that you can do with the legs to create combos with upper bodies, like the dilemmas you can create on top of just purely the leg locks and wrestling counters in no-gi, it's completely, it's unlimited. It's literally unlimited. There's new stuff that's coming out every day. It's unlimited. Vice versa, in the gi, with the lapel, there's stuff that you'll never be able to do in no-gi in the gi, and that, again, it's unlimited. So when someone says, this is more technical, or this is better because it's slower, I don't know what you mean. 90% of the jiu-jitsu matches that I've been in, and I've, like I said, mostly done no-gi, they've all been very slow. I think oftentimes it's misrepresented just through specific language that that no-gi is just this really fast, spazzy thing, when in reality, that's the highlight reels you see on Instagram. Go watch an ADCC trials, go watch an ADCC, go watch a CJI, except for Andrew Tackett versus K. Ruotolo. That's a really exaggerated example of what no-gi actually is. Go watch really, really good no-gi jiu-jitsu, and it tends to be very slow with explosions and scrambles in moments. But those moments are the things that get really popular and go viral online. So people who don't do no-gi don't really understand that most no-gi is, look at Gordon Ryan, right? Look at Nicky Rod. He's not going as fast as you think. He's not going super fast, right? Most of it is slow, controlled, isometric grappling, similar to the gi. So I think that it can be something where athleticism and speed and even spazziness can take you a little far in no-gi, but I think it only goes so far before someone who's really, really technical absolutely shuts you down and destroys you regardless of how athletic, spazzy, or fast you are. Hence why guys who are the best in the world, like Felipe Pena, Gordon, Kynan, Baby Shark, etc., they're not super fast, okay? Mika, another example. So do I think one is more technical than the other? I absolutely do not believe that. I don't like the word technical, because it's like, how do you actually define that? Because if you think that one is more technical than the other, I want you to write out a list of every single technique, and then just stop when you're done, and then you'll see that it's impossible. You're never gonna be able to write out every technique for gi or no-gi, and this is why I do not enjoy it when people are like, no-gi guys are less technical than gi guys, or gi guys are less technical than no-gi guys. I think it's a very dumb argument, and one that's not worth really discussing anymore. But yes, I stopped training in the gi a while ago. After I got my purple belt, I didn't enjoy it. I'm glad I made that decision. I have so much more fun now just doing what I want. I was getting really dragged down and bored, and I felt like it was a chore. Now, when I train no-gi, I just enjoy it. You know, I love it. It's so technical. It's just what I enjoy to do. Which do you guys prefer? I don't care. Do you prefer gi? Do you prefer no-gi? Tell me why in the description below. Neither one's wrong, right? Someone's gonna tell you you're wrong. Neither is wrong. They're just your preference. Other than that, guys, if you'd like to learn more, I have my Wrestling for Jiu-Jitsu instructionals out. Most of these are takedowns, but I also have solo drills and hand fighting. Other than that, you can find the instructionals by going to BrandonReed3x.com/store or checking out the links in the description below for each individual instructional. Thanks for watching.